Hello and welcome to class today. In order to find molar mass, look on the periodic table. If you have just one element, for example copper, underneath the symbol it says 63.546. We want to go to 2 decimal spots and then cut the rest off. Since this is 5 or bigger, it would round that up and you get 63.55. Put your units on it, which would be grams per mole. If you wanted to do it for a compound, about magnesium hydroxide, you would type into your calculator magnesium's mass, which is 24.31, plus oxygen's mass, there's 2 of those, each one is 16.00, plus hydrogen's mass, there's 2 of those, times 1.01. Enter that into your calculator. Do it along with me. Make sure you use parentheses. You would get 58.33, which are units, grams per mole. Next item would be conversion. If I want to convert between moles and grams, let's say I had 12.2 moles of water, and I want to switch it into grams. Okay, so then whatever they give you first, you start with that. So I have 12.2 moles of H2O. Make a big plus sign, and then follow the units. Whatever is up here, you're going to move it down there so it crosses out. I'll put moles of water here. And I can get rid of those because they're the same on the top and the bottom. I'll go to my new thing. I want to go to grams. If you look at the triangle, you can go right between moles and grams. So grams of H2O. Put an equal sign. I'll make a box for my answer. All the units are crossed out here except for grams of H2O. That's what you put in. And then go back and put the numbers in. This triangle tells you what to write. Whenever it says mole, you put in 1. Always. Whenever it says grams, you got to use the periodic table. So you'd add up the mass from 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen and put that to your calculator. You would get 18.02. Then you're going to do the math. This would look the same as if you had 12.2 times 18.02 divided by 1. So that math is the same thing in here as if it was in parentheses like that. So the units, we already took care of those. Just do the math. 12.2 times 18.02 divided by 1. Get your answer. We can make sig digs. Whenever we do conversions, we just match what we started with. Since that has 3, your answer should get 3. Do it along with me on your calculator. And when my calculator says this, 219.844. I'm going to round to 3 sig digs, cut the rest off. Since that's 5 or bigger, I'm going to round it up, and I'm going to get 220 grams of water. Now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to convert it from grams to moles. So let's say we had 15.6 grams of lithium sulfide. And we want to turn that into moles. So whatever they give you, you write that down first. Make sure you always write the formula. Make a big plus sign. Follow the units. Whatever's up here, move it to the bottom so it crosses out. Then move move to the next thing. We want to go from grams to moles. Looking at the triangle, you're allowed to go directly there. So just put moles of Li2S above. Don't be lazy. You got to write those formulas in every time. The big box for your answer. The units that are not crossed out are moles of Li2S. Go back and put the numbers in. Remember, whenever it says moles, you're going to use this triangle. It's always going to be a 1. Whenever we use grams, you're going to go on the periodic table and add them up. So deal with me on your calculator. There's 2 lithiums. So in parentheses, you put 2 times lithium's mass, which is 6.94, plus, and then there's just 1 sulfur, and it weighs 32.06. If you add them up, you get 45.94. Now you're going to do the math. Remember, multiply across the top. 15.6 times 1, divide by the bottom. Your answer should have 3 sig digs. Match what you started with. So this answer would be 0.340 moles of lithium sulfide. Now for the hardest one, say we had 3.61 go this way. So 3.61 grams of calcium nitrate. We want to switch it to atoms. So they give us first 3.61 grams calcium nitrate. Make a big plus sign. Automatically you're going to take down the unit so they can cross out. And then we'll go to the new units on top. We want to go to atoms, from grams to atoms, but we're not allowed to do that. So we need to go to moles first, and then we can go to atoms. So keep going. So far, I've been able to cross out those units. So to continue on now, I need to get rid of moles. So that goes on the bottom. Get rid of that now. And I am allowed to go from moles to atoms. So atoms on top. Put an equal sign. Put a big box for your answer. The units that are not crossed out are atoms. Calcium nitrate. Go back and put the numbers in. Moles are easiest. They're always 1. Atoms, you're going to use 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. Always. Just look at the triangle. Atoms, we have those units, or that number. And then for grams, remember you're going to look on the periodic table. So you got to add the mass up. One hint would be to write down how many there are for each thing underneath. Calcium, there's 1. Nitrogen, there's 2. And oxygen, there's 6. You can do that in your head. Some people, it might be helpful for you to write that down. So I'm going to type in calcium's mass, which is 40.08. Do it with me on your calculator. Plus nitrogen, there's 2 of them, so 2 times its mass, which is 14.01, plus 6. So in parentheses, put that. And then plus in parentheses again for oxygen, 6 times its mass, which is 16.00. Add them all up. You get 164.10. Now you're going to do the math, multiply across the top, divide by the bottom, and get your answer. A reminder, to put it in your calculator, you'd hit 6.02, and then you hit the EE or EXT key. Don't hit times and don't hit 10, ever. And then 2, and then 3. That's how you enter this into your calculator when you get to the ones with the exponents. So I'm going to type in 3.61 times 1 times 6.02 e to the 23rd, or exponent to the 23rd. So multiply those three items, divided by the bottom, which is 164.10, and I get this answer. I'm going to round it to 3 sig digs, so it would be 1.32 times 10 to the 22nd. And the last thing for today is molar mass, percent composition. Remember, to find that, it's always part over whole times 100. That gives us your percent. When we do this in here, we'll always go to 1 decimal spot. So let's say we were going to find the percent composition for magnesium hydroxide. So the elements I see are magnesium, oxygen, and hydrogen. There's 1 magnesium times its mass, which is 24.31. Oxygen, there's 2 of those times its mass, which is 16.00. And hydrogen, there's 2 of those times its mass, which is 1.01. Multiply those out on your calculator. And then add them up. Do it along with me. You may notice from before what we just found is the molar mass. Then you're going to put it into the equation where you have part over whole times 100 for each one. So these are the parts, and this is the same whole always. So for magnesium, it was 24.31 divided by 58.33 multiplied by 100. Remember, we're going to take it to 1 decimal spot. So punch that in your calculator. You would get 41.7% magnesium. Always box in your answer. I'll do one more. How about for oxygen? So we're going to take the part here divided by the whole. So I'll take 32.00 divided by 58.33 times 100. Do that along with me on your calculator. And round to 1 decimal spot, I would get 54.9%. And then don't forget to label what it is. This one's for oxygen. And then the last one, you would just take the part that came from hydrogen and divide it by 58.33, and you'll be done. Alright, have a nice day.